Story 1. I sleep with a giant Snorlax stuffed animal. I'm a side sleeper, and hugging it helps keep my chest up and open to breathe easier. It also makes me feel fuzzy inside. Story 2. I am a very old, autistic man. I was there when they still called the asylum they put me in a sanitarium. I was there when they tried attaching a boy to the mains by his forehead, and I was there when they were all shut down. I am the last person you'd expect, from one look, to own an entire room in my house for teddy bears. I get home from work, and I crawl into the pile. It's so big that I can be entirely submerged in it, and nobody can see the difference in size. Every time I see a teddy bear I want, I must have it or I become a wreck. The therapist says it's a trauma response from my inner child that was forced to hide and die. But to me, it's just a quirk. I see a teddy bear, it comes home with me. People are always asking me if it's for a grandchild. I learned to say yes rather than tell them it's for me. As an old man with leather skin and scars everywhere, you get some weird looks when you walk around with a 7-foot-tall otter teddy bear. The best part of my day is coming home to the teddy room. My wife would always hear me running down the hall, walk through, and speak loudly into the room. I thought I heard my husband, but it must have just been the teddies. Then I'd stick a hand out and give her a thumbs up. She passed a while ago, and in her will, she made sure to let me know to get out of the pile in a reasonable time so I can get dinner on. Story 3. I'm about to be 40. My cat died last night, and it was so hard trying to sleep without her furry little body in my arms. I grabbed my stuffed Haku, a neck pillow shaped like the dragon from Spirited Away, formed to stay in a circle like it's curled up, to hold against my chest. I went right to sleep. Sometimes I'll grab my childhood teddy to sleep with when my partner is out of town. I don't know why it fills the space of having someone next to you, but it does. Story 4. The day we found out we couldn't have kids apart from in vitro fertilization, we had plans to meet up with family at Dave & Buster's. My partner had a lot of points by the end, and there was this little rainbow llama that, for whatever reason, felt comforting, so they got it for me. It really helped to have something soft to hug when tears came. The llama is still going strong, and I named him Herbert. Story 5. At one hospital where I worked, I had a patient who was around 80 or 90 years old who slept with a tiny teddy bear that her grandma or great-grandma made years ago. I was always secretly petrified that the little teddy bear would somehow accidentally end up in a linen basket at the hospital and get lost forever. Story 6. Yes, of course I still sleep with my teddy. I will always have him in bed with me. Any future partners will be kicked out of my bedroom before I even consider not sleeping with my teddy. Sorry, future partners. Story 7. I do actually. I've got this huge teddy bear I've had since I was a kid. It's just really comfy to cuddle with, you know? Plus, it reminds me of being a kid. Story 8. Absolutely. Who else is going to defend me from the monsters under my bed? I don't give a f asterisk 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 if I'm 26, which I am, 58, or even 80. Plushies and stuffed animals are awesome and comfy. Story 9. Yes, and because it makes sense. Get a Jellycat bunny and it will be self-explanatory. In a cold, callous world that takes pride in its lack of empathy, I get the win of sleeping in a soft, gentle, safe space. And I have a spouse, and she has cancer. And for every person who has screamed at her in public for wearing a mask, there is a soft, gentle hug for me and the Jellycat family. Story 10. I received a penguin from my boyfriend for my surgery during the pandemic, but he proceeded to steal my penguin because she was so nice to lie on, so his shoulder wouldn't hurt. I missed my penguin, so I got him one too. Now we both have penguins, and they are in a relationship with my heatable stuffed dog, Gary. The temperature balance is tricky, but I think they're happy overall. Story 11. Grown-ass man checking in with my giant squishmallow dinosaur that I've named Chompy. I fall asleep hugging him because it's the most comfortable position for me, and because Chompy and my dog are the only things in the world that love me unconditionally. Story 12. I mostly sleep with a fox squishmallow-looking pillow. It's very comfortable to hug and prevents one arm from weighing on the other. I have other stuffed animals, mostly foxes, but they don't usually stay on the bed. Story 13. I need to hold something in order to fall asleep, and it needs to be big enough to wrap my arms around. In a pinch, it's a pillow. At home, it's my big stuffed elephant from IKEA named Alfred Yitzhak. Story 14. I sleep with a live animal who is usually stuffed with treats, so technically yes. And he sleeps in the bed because he insists and believes he is entitled to his own pillow. Story 15. Yeah, I'm a 24-year-old man. I didn't for years. Probably from around age 10 and up. I mean, I had a giant whale I basically used as a body pillow until I was about 13, I think, but I don't really consider that the same since the sentiment wasn't there. It was just a pillow that happened to be a stuffed whale. Last year, I started sleeping with a teddy bear I personally made in preschool with the rest of my class. I did it as a therapy thing. I'm in a support group for kids who were raised in dysfunctional families, and I found that it really helped me. On nights when I'm really feeling alone, he helps me not feel alone and I sleep better. He's my buddy. I like to set him up near a window when I go to work sometimes, like he's gonna get bored if he doesn't have something to look at, laughing my ass off. Story 16. I never used to, but since turning 30, I got a stuffed hedgehog to sleep with. He's fuzzy, and on those nights when I really need comfort, he's nice to cuddle with. Plus, he smells like cotton candy. Story 17. Absolutely, I still keep my childhood teddy bear by my pillow. It's not just about comfort or nostalgia. It's a little piece of home that makes wherever I am feel a bit safer, a bit more me. Plus, it's a great reminder of simpler times. Story 18. Sure do. Both my husband and I have our own cuddle pets. He has a stuffed bear and I have a panda pillow pet. We're both side sleepers, too much of hot bodies to cuddle or spoon, and my one arm falling on top of my other arm without anything holding up my upper arm just really bothers me. Story 19. I never used to until recently. A friend got me a very soft memory foam pillow, and now I have to have it on my chest every night, or I can't fall asleep. Story 20. I have 3 stuffed animals of my favorite Pokemon. One being a Bidoof, Psyduck, and Quagsire. I cuddle all of them every single night. They are all so cuddly, and I love waking up to their adorable faces. Story 21. I have little space, so it keeps me calm and happy when things get tough. But I am a huge collector. I have about 30 at this point. I am hoping to get more for Christmas. Story 22. Yeah, I've collected stuffed animals for years, so I have a lot of them. I have so many sleep problems, and having a stuffed animal lets me have basically a smaller pillow that gives me extra neck support. It's just more comfortable for me. Story 23. I am a medical resident doctor. Very much adult, I think. I still sleep with not 1, not 2, but 3 stuffed animals. A giant penguin I can hug, because penguins rock, a Snugget, and a jungle skog from IKEA. It makes me feel warm, fuzzy, and safe. Story 24. I keep a tiny stuffed dog that my toy poodle carried around in her mouth. It was her comfort toy, and she never chewed on it. After she died, I washed the stuffed animal and often hold it or put it under my pillow. It makes me feel close to my dog. I miss her so much. Story 25. Just started at 68 yesterday old. I have a teddy bear and put some family stuff on it. My mother's circle pin, my husband picked out material for a scarf, my son's navy pin, and a patch of mother-in-law's apron. I love it, and hugs help my stress. Story 26. Old lady here, slept with stuffed animals until late 20s. Now in 60s, I hug a pillow. Ironically enough, been married 40 healthy years and hate being touched while asleep. People are weird. Story 27. Yes, I still sleep with my childhood teddy bear in my arms every night. It gives me comfort and makes me feel safe. Before my grandmother died, she was in the hospital for a long time and she dearly missed her cat. I got her a big stuffed cat to cuddle with in the hospital. She really loved it and was holding the cat all day and night, petting it and telling it her worries. I really think everyone needs a stuffed friend. Story 28. My beloved cat used to want me to hold her like a teddy bear at night. It was so cute, and I've never had a cat that loved to be held as much as she did. She passed away last year, and I got a cat plush to hug at night in her absence. Story 29. I only started doing it at 39, actually, because I broke my elbow in 3 places and my arm hurts if I don't have it slightly propped up. I haven't found anything better than a stuffed animal. Story 30. Absolutely. I do not think I could sleep without a bear. Even the camper van has a couple of bears snuggled in the bedding, so there is never the possibility of not having any. Why? I had a bear called Blue as a kid. Mother made me put him away in the cupboard when I reached 10 years old. In my early 20s, I was going through a very bad patch because of my childhood and needed him. I drove to my sister's, who had him, and brought him home. He helped a lot. There were a lot of tears in that bear. A while later, I found a cat bear who made a nice friend for him, and things went from there. I still sleep with Blue and 2 other bears. I am 58. Story 31. I have a small obsession with Jigglypuff, and sometimes I like to get a couple of my plush Jigglypuffs and pile them in the bed with me. My favorite is the large sleeping one because I'm like, hey, I'm about to be sleeping too. Story 32, almost 30, and yes, I still do. I used to collect and owned over 400 individual Beanie Babies. I had a sad and rough childhood where I was heavily neglected. I don't have a partner or roommates now, and my fuzzy friends help with the lonely nights and nightmares. Story 33. I am 40 and kind of have my childhood favorite stuffed animal and a squishmallow in bed with me every night. Most nights they just sit beside my pillows. But if I cannot fall asleep, or I am feeling anxious or upset, I will cuddle one. But never during the winter, as if it is cold. I have a very cuddly dog instead. Story 34. My sweetheart is too sentimental to part with any of her or my childhood stuffed animals. We have to balance this with 2 excitable dogs who would tear through them. So, they live on a shelf above our bedroom closet doors, staring down at us at all times. You just stop looking up after a while. Story 35. Not a stuffed animal, but a blanket. Use it like a smaller pillow. It goes under my head, between my head and the actual pillow. It's significantly easier to flip around to a cool spot than the whole pillow. Story 36. I have a stuffed parrot that I've had since I was a baby, a Jack Skellington, Sally, and Oogie Boogie, and a hard plastic Quasimodo that I've also had since I was little. The parrot and Quasimodo have been with me all my life, so sleeping with them feels right. I often suffer from nightmares and anxiety spikes at night. When those happen, I grab Jack, Sally, or Oogie to squeeze until I snap out of it. For a long time, I just had Jack, but last Halloween, I went out to complete the set. Oogie is the best one to grab because he's the biggest and he's shaped like a pillow. Story 37. Yes, at 30, partially because I believe in nourishing our inner children, and partially because I just like to hold something while I sleep. If I'm away from home, I bunch up the blanket and hold it to my chest. I don't know why, it's a reflex. Mine is a little Jellycat bunny that my partner got for me. I got him a little monkey, and now they have sleepovers when we stay over at each other's places. Story 38. I have 2 stuffed animals I sleep with, and they make me feel safe. I have anxiety, and when I go to sleep and cuddle with my stuffed animals, it helps me calm down. Story 39. Teddy is my main man, and he keeps me safe every night from monsters. Also, he snuggles me when I'm sad. He's done his job every night for 31 years, and it would be rude to retire him when he's done such a good job. I tuck him in every morning so he can rest while I'm at work. I make my husband wash him because it makes me so sad to put him in the washer. It's like I'm drowning him. I will be buried with him one day. Story 40. I keep a little fox beside my bed. I was given him when I was 17 by a much-loved family member. I always know if I've had a bad dream in the night because I reach over and get him in my sleep. So when I wake up, he's snuggled in my blankets. Story 41. I didn't normally, but then this year I obtained one, and it has stuck with me as an object I feel sentimental about and keep in my bed. It's an old Thai teddy bunny who I call Mr. Zvyer. I got him by winning him at a fairground this summer in Sofia, Bulgaria, while I was backpacking from Prague to Istanbul. It was a day when the sun and rain battled each other, and it was so warm and humid. I carried him in my hand luggage back to the United Kingdom from Istanbul. I keep him in my bed because it's the best place in my house too. Story 42. I have a giant stuffed octopus that I sleep with because it makes the perfect body pillow that fits however you want to lie because of the tentacles. It can match whatever shape you want it to. Story 43. Yes, I still sleep with a stuffed animal. For me, it's more than just a habit. It's a source of comfort and familiarity. Life can be stressful, and having something soft and cozy nearby helps me feel safe and calm, especially after a tough day. It also brings a sense of nostalgia and connection to my childhood, which is really grounding. Honestly, it's like having a little piece of warmth and happiness with me as I sleep. Why give that up? Story 44. I kept my childhood stuffed animals because I didn't have the heart to throw them out. They were never in bed with me, though. Then I met my wife. She absolutely loves stuffed animals. Now we have hundreds, and there are always some in bed with us. Story 45. My boyfriend gifted me a teddy bear on our very first Valentine's that is meant to represent him when he is away, as we are long distance. It's very comforting. Story 46. Yes and no. For a long time into my 20s, I would sleep with my stuffed panther. Then I stopped. Last year, our corgi passed away, and I started sleeping with my panther again. I think it has more to do with missing our corgi's physical presence, and I am trying to bring that feeling back. Story 47. Got out of a long-term relationship and then got a giant squishmallow body pillow to hug at night instead. I sleep 100 times better now than with another human in the bed. Laughing my ass off. Story 48. No, just a squishy pillow with a blanket on top of it. However, sometimes I go lay down in my daughter's room and cuddle with her stuffed animals, and it's really comforting.